Hey, good evening. I am here to share with you my latest, and this is my very first design team project for Vintage Paper Emporium, Leslie's shop over on Etsy. So check her out. She sent me so much stuff that I've made 3 journals. And they're all Christmas themed. And this one is already spoken for, but these 2, after as many of you know, I am on a 10-day fast from social media. So I won't be able to post any of this until Wednesday. Excuse me. But they will be posted on my Facebook page for sale on Wednesday. But this one is already spoken for, so I'll do it first. And of course I forgot to open any of them beforehand, so don't laugh as you're trying to see me open these. Okay. I've used a lovely paper pad that my daughter bought for me, and just bits and pieces from here and there, and a lot from Leslie's shop. Okay, so here we go. Oh, excuse me. Also, I've used a lot of stuff that I found at a yard sale. She was getting rid of her card-making stash, and I grabbed the box that said Christmas, since I knew I was going to be making Christmas journals, and so a lot of stuff came from that. This piece being one of them. That piece, Encircle All the World. That's what this one is called. I've got vintage trim on the spine, and some more pattern paper on the back. This gorgeous green trim, and then I've put cardstock and the paper pad, which is cardstock, together and sewn all around. Eyelet closure. And if it'll let me open, let's go inside. So I had this old Christmas card in my stash, and so I made it into a pocket for the front. Isn't that pretty? Sparkles and birds. Oh, so pretty. And then inside the pocket we have a really big, long tag that I've done snowflake stamps and Joy to the World and some ribbon trim. You think I can get through 3? Not if I keep having trouble opening and closing things, or pulling out and putting in. That's it. Beautiful paper. This is a gift tag, and you can journal on the inside, and it's also a tuck spot for this star journal card. I've done a little bit of stamping throughout. This comes from Leslie's shop, the book page. Beautiful presents and stockings. Lovely. And a big stocking. Grid paper I got at a estate sale. This one I've made a pocket, and this is Tsunami Rose Ephemera. On the inside I have my angel stamp, Sentiment Joy, and some vintage trim. And this trim, I think, came from Leslie's shop. I have so much trim in it, it gets kind of muddled in my head, but I think that does. And then I've done a Hermelinda type tag out of it. And this tag. This cute little image comes from Pinterest, and then Vintage Dictionary page, and a little bit of stenciling, and some pretty red trim. This is vintage. They called it watercolor / sketch paper, so take it as you will. It's pretty thick. I've done stamping on the corners on both sides. Vintage tracing paper, really old and just already had such good color to it. And if I can turn the page, there you go. An old Christmas card, and then I've turned it into a pocket. Now this game piece I found at an estate sale, really old, like from the 50s I think it was. And it was Christmas green, so there you go. This I also got from that stash of card making supplies. This is Tsunami Rose and the pattern paper behind it. And then I made an envelope out of some pattern paper. And on the inside, we have tea-dyed paper that I've stenciled, a bit of pattern paper, and the sentiment tray. And this is all on a paper bag that I think comes from Leslie's shop. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible at this. This is my first, so I'm sorry. This definitely comes from Leslie's shop. And it's really thick. Some are not. I've bought some before that were not very thick, but this is really nice thick. And some, there you go, some stationery with a cute little snow family on it. This comes from Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? I debated back and forth forever putting bling in the middle, but it was so pretty. I wasn't sure if it needed bling, so I left it alone. Some more stamping. Now these. Oh my goodness. You know, when you go to estate sales, sometimes you find amazing things, but this was in a garage at an estate sale, just like left, like nobody wanted it type of thing. So I looked inside. It was a box that held 3x5 index cards. But in this box, the only thing it had in it, it was full of these dividers that you know that they're old because of the color, for one thing, and they're thick. They're so awesome. Every time I look at them, I'm like, oh no, that was the find of a lifetime. So anyway, this piece comes from the yard sale, that other lady's card stash. This comes from Angelica? I think that's her name. When we did a swap. Whoop. And then I stamped behind it and you can journal. Oh my goodness, I can't hold it. On all that. And then I've done a bead dangle. And a jingle bell. There you go. On the other side, I was inspired by Clemmie's Creations, and so I've done a half envelope, half a business envelope. I've decorated it, or embellished it with this cute little image from Pinterest, some random Christmas type paper, and Christmas washi. And then on the back, whoop, it has vintage dictionary page, and I've stamped Merry Christmas. And on the inside, I've taken the back side of an old Christmas card. Really, I'm going to get this open. Okay, there you go. We have a vintage lace tab, which I do believe that came from Leslie's shop also. Some bling. This is the back of the card, and so I put Tsunami Rose ephemera on it. And then on the other side, you still get a sentiment and a little journaling space. Ledger paper. Now, in my opinion, pattern paper is an excellent backdrop for photos. Don't you think? A little Christmas photo? That'd be so awesome. Outdoors, an outdoor photo. Then snowflakes would make sense. I don't know. It would just be cute. Another pocket. This time I've corner punched. And then we have this tag made with leftover pattern paper back onto cardstock and sewn all around. And some vintage trim. And then we have this index card. This is my new stamp that I got in an estate sale. Isn't that pretty? Oh, cute little birds. That's my... I love that stamp. Now the green theme binding, Christmas green, isn't that pretty? That comes from Leslie's shop. As does this almost candy cane stripe twine. Isn't that pretty? That comes from her shop too. And then I've added the vintage lace and bling and I punched the corners, and there's lines on the back for journaling. A little grid paper, very vintage. And look at the color on that. Lines on the other side, it's very pretty. Center of the book, a little bit of stamping. Gorgeous color. Okay, this is a tag that I've made with a napkin decoupage. This napkin comes from Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? Look at all those colors. Okay, journal on that side. And then on this side we have a Tim Holtz ephemera piece that was red and green. And this is Tsunami Rose. A little bit of stamping. This is a corner flip. And this image comes from Pinterest. And I made a tag with my Christmas stamp and some stenciling, Christmas tree stamp, excuse me, and I've made a little tag and a little jingle bell and some beautiful red trim. This glassine bag and the doily come from Leslie's shop, and then on the inside I've made this tag with a die cut out of the leftover pattern paper of the tab and the jar, and then in the jar I've left it open, so there's this tag in it. That was kind of cute, and then you can journal in the back. Oh my goodness, okay, we'll put it in later. I'm taking the hint. This, I just had in my stash. Nice and sparkly. I've left this totally glued down. And in the bag, we have this little booklet that I've made. This image on the front came from the yard sale. And then I've used leftover pattern paper. And this lace comes from Leslie's shop. And I made a pocket with this card in it. Christmas trivia comes from Leslie's shop. We have ledger paper and old book page, lined tea-dyed paper, index card. In the middle, we have 2 Christmas hearts on a string. And on the back, we have another trivia card, a bigger one this time, also from Leslie's shop, just for the cuteness factor. And then on the back of the bag, we have some, just a ripped piece of stationery that I had with a little snowman, and you can turn a little bit on that. Here is Santa. That is my favorite Santa stamp ever. Isn't that beautiful with all the detail on the snowflakes? Okay. This is an ultra paper clip. It is a gift tag. And then I've glossy accented the ornament. Another gorgeous place for a photo. Ooh, carolers. Do they do that anymore? That might be an old thing. Tracing paper. Another pocket with some ribbon flowers. On the inside we have this tag I've made with Tsunami Rose ephemera. A bit of the leftover pattern paper, and some green seam binding from Leslie's shop. Isn't that gorgeous green? So pretty. And then this was just in my stash, so I added a sticker and kindness. You can journal on the back. This is Tsunami Rose, and it flips out for more journaling. The book page from Leslie's shop. Beautiful, isn't it? Just gets you in the Christmas spirit. Some leftover pattern paper that I've edge punched, and I've used the Christmas stocking one, so it kind of goes with the Christmas stockings on the book. Here's Tsunami Rose Ephemera that I made into a journal card. And then we have this cute little image here from Pinterest. And it opens like this for more journaling. And then inside we have this tag that I've made. And each of the journals has a Franken page. The back cover is a Franken type page. So this is a gift tag, little foam, sparkly stocking, goodness. Some washi tape, tea-dyed paper, sentiment. And that is the one that is already spoken for. Now, let's see if we can get 2 more done. Okay, we have the reindeer. This reindeer comes, and the sentiment on it comes from, it's all one piece, it comes from Leslie's shop, Vintage Paper Emporium. And then I've glossy accented the Happy Holidays. We have a doily on the back, this vintage trim from my stash. I've done them the same way. I've put 2 pieces of cardstock together and sewn around it. This is some vintage trim, and yeah, this one will be hard to open. Ooh. I must be living right. My goodness. Okay. And let's go inside. This is an old calendar that I had that I backed onto some cardstock, made it into a pocket. And this one also says Joy to the World, but it has holly all over. And on this side, this is a nice sentiment that I had in my stash. And I'll bet you, whoever gets it can read it and enjoy it. I backed it onto cardstock and then sewn around it and made a pocket on the side. This comes from that lady's stash, and for a card, I'm assuming, but I made it into a journal card. And the tab on the front, on the top, comes from Leslie's shop. She has so many varied items that you're just like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would look great in a journal. This pocket with Tsunami Rose Ephemera. I made a tag, it says Joy, with some gold trim at the top to match. And then, we have my favorite birds again. And this time I've put some vintage lace on the bottom of it that comes from Leslie's shop. And then this came from my mother's stash. And I thought it looked like something you would find in a bird's nest. Just little bits and pieces of things. And this gorgeous burgundy trim. Isn't that pretty? So what I've done with this one is I had some tea-dyed paper, but it wasn't like printer paper. It was something that I got at an estate sale, and it was just a little bit thicker. So I used my new envelope punch board, which I love, and I made an envelope. Nothing's in it. Whoever receives this can put in just Christmas memories. So that's the envelope. Love that envelope. Tracing paper, more tiny grids, and then gorgeous lines on the back. And another of those wonderful index card dividers. The image from Pinterest. This is from that lady's stash, and she had punched out one of the holes. See, it's got these little holes. She punched out one, and so I filled it with a little red bling from Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? I like that one. Under the paper clip. Sorry about that. So, here we have a bead dangle that has little flecks of gold in it, and a jingle bell. Then we have another Clemmie's Creation inspiration, half a business card, half a business size envelope, and on it we have a little image from Pinterest and Tsunami Rose. And the same on the back, vintage dictionary page and stamping. And then on the inside we have a journal card or a photo mat, whatever you'd like to use it for. A paper bag. My daughter got me a present for my birthday in this, and I was so excited about the bag. Oh, poor girl. Okay, on the inside we have an old Christmas card, and then I've cut it out, and on the back we have pattern paper and Edith Holden and Happy Holidays. And it forms a pocket for these tags. This one has a snowflake on it with some eyelash trim. I wanted them to have something trim wise, but not anything bulky because it was going to go in a bag. So, and then this one has a snowflake cutout, and then this one comes from Teresa Rogers, who sent me those. Aren't they pretty? And some more eyelash trim. So all of those go in there, and then in the bag. And then there's another recipe card. You guessed it, from Vintage Paper Emporium. This one is a real pretty one. And again, it's really thick, sturdy. I like it. Back of the bag, we have Tsunami Rose ephemera that I fussy cut out. And then this comes from Leslie's shop. It is so cute. And look, it's a circle. The circle playing card. Isn't that cute? It goes right behind there. This is a book page from Leslie's shop. It's got more stockings, so I found this at a secondhand store. It's a patch, and so I just glued it on there. It's cute. And gingerbread cookies, and oh, just everything Christmas. Beautiful paper. Thank you, Leslie. Here we have another image from Pinterest, and again, it opens like the other one for more journaling. And it's got a tag, the Christmas tree, and some lace from Leslie, and then this goes in my stash, and some pretty red ribbon. And then we have some more stationery with the snowman on it. Snow family, whatever you want to call them. Excuse me. This I had in my stash, using it as a tuck spot for Tsunami Rose's gingerbread man. I'm going to get into a journal. It's cool, huh? It's like, look at this. It's like grid paper on this side. And on the other side, it's lines. Isn't that cool? What a great invention. I know, it's probably old hack, but for me it was new. A gift tag flips open. It made another envelope. The red trim comes from Leslie's shop. And then inside we have a journal card with Santa from Tsunami Rose. It's just a little bit of tea dyeing in here because most of these pages, the non-pattern paper pages, were already so vintage that I didn't think it needed it. Another pocket, corner punch. We have an index card. I punched the corners and it says Season's Greetings. Excuse me. And then this tag that I've made. stenciling, bit of pattern paper, tsunami rose, and this is from my mother's stash. But look at the colors. They went perfectly with Tsunami Rose's little angel. Oh, that was so cool. How often does that happen, really? I mean, by accident. Okay. The paper clip comes from Leslie's shop. It's Christmas red. And then another napkin decoupage. And again, from Leslie's shop. This one I love, though. Look at all the color in that one. I think that's my favorite napkin that she sent. And then a little stamping. Excuse me. Here is an altered paper clip. The sticker comes from Leslie's shop. And then I've glossy accented Santa's pants and his hat. And then the bling also comes from Leslie's shop. Excuse me. And then we have Tim Holtz ephemera, because it was green. And a quote. And then the paper clip is also holding in this envelope with Tsunami Rose ephemera on it. And then on the inside, we have a journal card. Merry Christmas with a little washi on the top and the bottom. And conjournal on the back. Oh, goodness. I'm just not very good at page turning, am I? A little bit of stamping. But my goodness. Another page. The other half of the page, excuse me. This is Tsunami Rose ephemera. I've left it open in the back just a little bit to accommodate a scallop circle punch of an old Christmas card. Put a date on there. Other half of the bag. We have Quizmo, yay! Kind of sounds like Christmas, right? Quizmo. And then I've made a mini journal. This is Tsunami Rose ephemera. Little stickers and bling. And on the inside, I've sewn in the paper and covered it with some vintage lace. And we have a Christmas light and just a lot of pages. Little notebook. Tsunami Rose ephemera. Let's flip out. Hey, this is the only paper bag I had that did not come from Leslie. It's from Tuesday Morning. Gorgeous lace on the bottom and some washi. Inside the pocket, or the bag, is a journal card that I've made with another die cut out of leftover pattern paper. And you can journal on the back. And then behind it, we have a tag that I've made with some memo paper? Note paper from Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? I like that. And some gorgeous green trim. Tracing paper, another pocket. This is Tsunami Rose ephemera. And in the pocket, we have this journal card. This piece tag came from the lady's stash. Excuse me. And then I punched out a flower and added that gorgeous red brad that came from Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? And then I backed it with vintage 1901 lined paper. So the lines are kind of faint, but you can still see them. Okay. Here is another Christmas card that I've turned into. It's got like flat back pearls and stuff on it. It's really pretty. And I've turned it into a tuck spot for this tag that I've made with Tsunami Rose ephemera and some bead dangle that so matches the blues and the pinks. Oh, it's so pretty. And then some stretchy cord. And this is this journal's Franken page. We've got gift tags here and here. This one, I just left this on. It was so pretty. I just left it on. And stickers and a little bit of washi. And there you go. That is the reindeer one. This one is for sale. Whoop. There we go, over there. And then we got the last one. This one is, yeah, I like this one. I cross-stitched this years ago and just never found a place for it until now. So, we got Santa, and we got a snowflake that came from Leslie's shop. We have some lace trim that I've run some ribbon through it, and pattern paper. I've done it the same as all the others, sewn around the edge. And we got some beautiful Christmas red ribbon. And let's go inside. In this journal that had the piece of a calendar, this is the other half of the calendar. Just kind of ripped it up a bit and sewn it onto the music paper and onto the cardstock. So we got some pretty Christmas scene there. And it's also a pocket which holds the famous, now famous, cute little birds. Christmas birds. Aren't they pretty? And we have my angels. We have a gift tag, opens, and Quizmo. Christmas green Quizmo. And then I've die cut out and stamped, and then die cut out. Yeah, a snowflake. We have stamping all around the page. Ledger paper. I like that paper. Wouldn't that be awesome, showing the kids with their stockings? And then a picture. Oh, that'd be so cute. And then on the other side we have this stationery that has a nice sentiment on it. I like cardinals. We have them around here in Florida sometime. And they're so tiny. They're so cute. Okay, this paper clip, Christmas green, also comes from Leslie's shop. Another tag that, Leslie, you have so many napkins. Napkin decoupage. Not that one. And some little snowflakes. Then on this side we have the business envelope. And this is Snummy Rose. And this is just foam stocking with glitter from my stash. And the same on the back. Merry Christmas. And inside, a journal card or a photo mat, whichever you prefer. This paper comes from Leslie's shop. The flap, this envelope and its flap come from Leslie's shop. I'll show you the envelope later on. Journal card that I've made. Pocket with some lace trim. And inside we have Herman Linda type tag with some red trim. And a heart backed onto cardstock with a snowflake stamp. Tracing paper. And this gift tag I've turned into an altered paper clip. I've added some bling from Leslie. I've left the red trim on top because it's so pretty. And whoop, on the back side, there's Christmas green tickets that come from Leslie's shop. And it was holding up this journal card. This came from the yard sale. The lace came from Leslie's shop, do you believe? Yeah. And then I backed it with, because this is like embossed, so you know my views on embossed paper, I love it, but you can't write on it so very well. So I backed it with cardstock and stamped it. We have the sentiment, which is so cute. And here is this one's index card tab divider. Yeah. And then I've taken pattern paper and punched the heart, a heart shape. We have an angel that I got at the yard sale. Isn't she pretty? And then you turn it over, and there's the missing heart. And then we have this bead dangle. And Tim Holtz, because it's red and green. And this comes from Leslie's shop, little sticker. Center of the book. Stamped all the corners, just for prettiness. Another pocket, corner punched. Index card that I punched all the corners. Stamped beautiful Christmas tree and the sentiment from Tim Holtz. And then I've made this tag, stenciling Tsunami Rose Ephemera and Joy sticker. Ooh, another really pretty pattern paper for a photo. That'd be nice. Another corner tuck with this cutoff of the pattern paper. Some tea stain paper. This came from a yard sale. The red trim comes from Leslie. And then some bling on top. And this trim also comes from Leslie. Isn't that pretty? And then you can journal all on that. Another cute little image from Pinterest. And again, this opens up like the others. So they're similar, but I tried to put differences in all of them to make them unique. And then we have this journal card with my reindeer punch, and this comes from the yard sale, and then I added some bling. And on the back I've made lines for journaling, and then there's Christmas washi tape. Another pocket with another recipe card from Leslie. With the little gingerbread house, that's so pretty. And this came from my stash. And Tsunami Rose Santa in the middle, in the inside, on the inside. Okay. And there's a gingerbread house, or a piece of it. And then I've done a tag that goes under it. And then this, gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful gold trim that's elastic. Isn't that cool? I love that one. That's my favorite trim, I think, that she sent for me to play with. And let me tell you, I've been playing with it. There, it's right up. Oh my goodness, I can't do it straight. Okay, it's right up in there. Now this is the envelope I was telling you about. Kind of a Christmas thread. Yeah, we'll say it's Christmas thread. And then I put pattern paper on the side with some lace trim for a pocket for this tag that came in a stash that I bought from a lady, and it was just in there. It was already like totally, completely decorated. So okay, I like the green bow on it. So I've added a bulb pin, and it's kind of a bead dangle with the word joy and a jingle bell. And then there's trim at the top. And then inside the envelope, got two pieces of note paper that are in Leslie's shop. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, those are just so pretty. And lines for journaling. They're awesome. This came from the yard sale. So did this sparkly star. And it flips out. Leslie's shop. Isn't that pretty? I think this comes from Leslie's shop, but I don't remember exactly. So don't quote me on that. But this lace trim does. And in the bag, this came from my stash. So I just backed it onto that vintage 1901 paper, but it kind of ripped a little. So I think in the future, lesson learned, don't sew it. Don't sew it, just glue. There you go. But I think it'll be okay. Then we have more of the stationery. This I stamped onto muslin. Some holly around the edge. And then inside we have a booklet that has vintage trim at the top. Merry Christmas and edge punch. And then it's just filled with grid paper that I've sewn in. And then there is this Franken page. There's a piece of the gingerbread house. A gift card. Gift tag. This comes from Leslie's shop. A little bit of washi. And that is Santa. So Santa and the reindeer are for sale. They will be posted in my on my Facebook page on Wednesday, when I can actually go online again. And I'm sorry, this video is really long, but I've got through all three journals that my first design team project for Vintage Paper Emporium. Thank you, and have a lovely day, and happy holidays. Bye-bye.